Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you like what you're seeing, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. And the reason for this video today is I actually wanted to talk about some of the economics with AMP token. And I'm also going to put a little bit of this Grayscale interview here with Rehana Sharif Asghari. She was actually at UBS 10 years before going to Grayscale, and she's been at Grayscale for about 4 years now. And I'm going to try to break this up too, because I don't want anyone to experience death by PowerPoint. And this will be a short PowerPoint presentation, but I'm going to go ahead and probably put in a little bit of this Grayscale interview, both at the beginning and the end. So anyway, let's get started.
I would have just literally paid with Bitcoin there instantly at the Baskin Robbins or some ice cream or coffee or whatever. And that's it. And it will work at all. It is by design. I'm sure there's some edge cases somewhere, but it's by design every single location that they have in the United States. So it is super. That's it. It's like really that straightforward and simple.
So after this, my colleagues and I, we could all go down the street to the Baskin Robbins and use some of the various cryptocurrency we own to buy ice cream.
Mm-hmm. I mean, why aren't you doing it is, I think, the more of the question.
Touche. Touche.
And then you could stake AMP, and then you'd be able to earn, all of the fees back. So you're earning the fees for the transaction too.
Yeah. Okay, so zooming out, again, going back to AMP, putting things into context.
The asset, any wallet to use, right? Any protocol, we don't actually care. So all of those things can come into Flexa. We're like a payments pipe. And the thing that we do best, that's very hard, that's very boring, but the best thing we do is all the integrations. So all of the hardware and software that we dig into and work with at the merchant level, that's really what we do. That's like what Flexa is. And so that's not a layer one protocol or a token. So it's just very fundamentally different. There might be other protocols trying to just do like native payments using different types of hardware or something like that. And we would very openly say, just use Flexa. It's free. We already have the integrations. Just throw us an API and you're good. And we'll let you literally be live at every store that we have, and we don't make any money on it. It's totally free. So if people, I would very honestly say, if you think you're competing with us there, just use our stuff. It's free and it's all right there to get all the acceptance, and it's literally right there for you. So we're not a consumer company. So if you have users or you have a wallet or you have things, you're not a competitor by nature to what Flexa is doing.
What is the most unexpected part?
That is a good question. I guess I would say there's a lot more enthusiasm at the corporate level than I would have expected. So there was, starting off, considerable more interest and awareness of why something like Flexa needs to exist than I really expected early on. So that was something that was, really appreciated too. And that we weren't really ever talking to people that had no interest. There was, surprisingly, for a really large 100-year-old plus merchant at times, them having like genuine enthusiasm to work with something like this and understanding it. And then some of them starting to understand, going into tangents of what this all looks like. So, a great example that we talked about very early on is, wow, if you're a merchant and you're running a loyalty program, you can literally just send coupons and loyalty points to your customer's wallet instantly. You know the address that they just used. This is like literally the marketing tool of the century for you, to literally inject value or tokens or something into their wallet. That's never been possible before. And some merchants will get that. And we talk about that. And we talk about what this can look like either through Flexa or something totally separate, or working with some other project or other technology to bring some of that to life. Because for us, we're about spending no matter where it comes from. So whatever the project is, no matter the asset, the wallet, the project, like, we're supportive of all of it. So I think that would be the most unexpected. I thought it was going to be a lot more challenging for some of the acceptance around this. And there certainly are many, many challenges, as we all know. We're based in New York. We're a token network. We have, all the various licenses to do what we do legally throughout the states we operate in. So that is a big, big, big challenge with lots of other hurdles and costs and everything else. But I probably would have expected a little bit more resistance, or I don't want to know about that. Or that's not interesting to me. And it's actually been quite the opposite, where there's been a nice appetite for, this is interesting. How do we participate, and how can we, make this meaningful?
So I've been telling everyone the reason why I'm sort of bullish on AMP is I've done the math, especially with mass adoption, and I'm presenting to you today AMP Potential Liquidity Crisis if Mass Adoption Occurs. This is also known as Tyler Candle's We're All Gonna Make It and Basic Math. So my hypothesis is that if the Flexen network achieves mass adoption, there will be much larger purchases of AMP off the open market to reward stakers in the Flexen network collateral pools. This amount is determined by the merchant fees that Flexa charges for a payment, significantly lower than traditional payment rails. I'll be using the arbitrary and conservative numbers of 30 million persons, roughly 9% of the current US population, were to spend $50 a day. This is also assuming that the fees Flexa would be passing to stakers would equate to 0.5%, aka sub 1%. And we will be referencing what I call my basic math example. And with this example, again, it'll be 30 million persons times $50, which equals into 1.5 billion in total purchases. 1.5 billion times 0.5% equals 7.5 million in AMP that would need to be purchased off the open market to reward stakers that day, aka collateral providers, for facilitating the collateralizing decentralized risk with the payment. 7.5 million divided by 0.27, which was the price of AMP not too long ago, but it's down about 20% since then, would equal roughly 270 million AMP tokens to be purchased. The network must purchase a fiat equivalent in tokens for fees/rewards paid out in an APY percentage. This is constant buying pressure. So I call this constant buying pressure because this pressure is something that the network dictates. There is no FUD or hold on, we'll wait and purchase it later. No, this is actually baked in. This is how the network works. It would have to purchase that amount of AMP. And now we'll go to the AMP supply because, again, this is sort of classic supply versus demand. It's very simplified. There is 27 billion of AMP, which at the time was 755 million, staked to Flexa capacity. Now, according to CoinMarketCap, AMP currently has 42.23 billion tokens in circulation, with 27 billion staked, roughly 64%. That leaves roughly 15.23 billion tokens, the other 36%, on the open market, a long and small release to a max supply of 99.5 billion. Now, full distribution of tokens is scheduled for the year 2045, with tokens added slightly under 3 million a day to meet the 2045 goal. I calculated it out and it's like 2.78 million, but for this example I'll just keep it even with 3 million. Now, with the math shown in the previous slide, 278 million AMP from 9% of the US population, if the market were to hold that same price the entire time, it would take roughly 55 days to drain the entire market supply of AMP token. With only a few million released daily, the price control of AMP token could possibly be controlled by stakers, if mass adoption does indeed occur. And now here's another part of the liquidity crisis, when we add new collateral pools. On April 22nd, 2022, new collateral pools will announce to start deploying in the following week. A leak from someone in the Telegram showed that a hint was dropped that 12 new collateral pools will start to be deployed. Currently, there are only 3 staking pools, which make up for that 27.2 billion in AMP. Gemini, which is 14.3 billion AMP, Spedden, which is 3.4 billion AMP, and the Lightning Transformer, which is 9.5 billion AMP. Now there will be potentially 12 new pools that will undoubtedly take some of the existing AMP from the current pools via stakers moving. They're going for that higher APY percentage. However, there is only 15.23 billion left in circulation not currently staked to Flex's existing pools. That is the available supply left to split between 12 pools, roughly 1.27 billion per new pool on average. Not accounting for the governance vote that allowed for 1 billion to be given to new collateral pools in staggered amounts depending on the size of the project.
Okay. In conclusion, this is the potential scenario.
Again, this is very simplified. If mass adoption of the Flex network is to occur, then there will be an exponential increase in the token price driven solely by the utility and the benefit of earning all the fees. With the constant buying pressure from the activity that is generated from Flex network, stakers will be the ones that will ultimately set the price in the long-term future. As less than 3 million tokens released per day, with the basic math example of 7.5 million in buying pressure, would make each token's maximum value slightly greater than $2.50. I call this HODL versus taking profits. Again, there would be a lot of market fluctuation. That would just be sort of a simplified number, would be at $2.50. Tyler stated, "We are aiming for trillions. The market cap of current payments rails are not equivalent to the amount of payments processed." I've seen this thrown around quite a bit. People have said that we need to look at Visa's market cap because that is what AMP's market cap will be. That is incredibly far from the truth. Now again, nobody knows the future. If the basic idea of supply and demand were to hold true, green candle should go up, red candle go bye-bye. And again, I'm just a guy on the internet. Keep doing your research before making any investment. Be wise with your money. And I, for one, support the team at Flex and everyone in the community. And also, I kind of thought of this today as the PS. Flex is the network. Theoretically, with the proper licensing, there won't be any issue linking traditional checking and credit-based accounts with the Flex network in the future. If you think about it like Visa, they're not the ones that actually issue the line of credit. That's the bank that issues the line of credit, and they used Visa Payment Network to process the payment. So really nothing much should change. So in reality, we're actually making it cheaper for credit and debit transactions to go through when compared to, say, Visa or MasterCard. Anyway, that was my quick little take. If you have anything that might be different or find any flaws in my reasoning, feel free to share them. I at least wanted to end it with a good take and some proper disclosures too, which apply to this video and the Grayscale video as well.
Does Grayscale have an AMP product, and questions about getting exposure to AMP and Flex in IRAs? Yes, our DeFi fund has AMP in it. Please feel free to check it out on our website or reach out to us. Well, I think a lot of people would find that very compelling. We do have to remind everybody that nothing we say here is investment advice. People should do their research. They should talk to their brokers. And we do have to wrap up. Thank you so much, Tyler, for taking time to join us today. And thank you everybody for dialing in. This has been a really great discussion. And I hope that everybody has a great rest of their day.